I just felt like I needed to get on here and share something. This is about my dad that was an alcoholic. He passed in 2010, and this is basically his testimony. Since he is not here to give it, I want to share his testimony. I think some people need to hear this. My dad was a bad alcoholic. From the time I was 7 years old and on until he died of cirrhosis of the liver. He was a great dad until I was 7, and the alcohol changed him so much. He was a mean alcoholic. Just bad. And over the years it got worse and worse, and when he would try to quit, he just couldn't. So he developed cirrhosis of the liver. About a month before he passed away, he was in the hospital, and I went up to see him. Now, he didn't take medications. He did not like medications, but he liked his alcohol. So he wasn't on any medications in the hospital. So they were monitoring him because he was very sick. And hospice comes next after this. But during the time in the hospital, I walked in to see him, and he was literally screaming and begging me to leave the room. And I was like, what's wrong? And he said, do you not see that the walls are on fire? You're going to burn. You got to get out of here. You have to leave. And he was in panic mode. And, the nurses could say it was DTs. He was detoxing. I don't believe that. My dad had this vision. He described gnashing of the teeth. He described a smell that was so bad, it literally made him sick. Like sick. And he kept asking me, do you not smell it? Do you not see those animals? He said, their teeth are like this long. He said, they are going to kill you if you don't get out of here. And he was trying his best to get up out of the bed, but he couldn't. And, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to talk to him. I'm trying to say a prayer with him. At that time, I was kind of young. I didn't know to start rebuking anything, because he was freaking me out, I was just like, oh my Lord. And I sat there and I'm like, he is having a vision of hell. God is walking him through hell. He is trying to open my dad's eyes, because my dad was a non-believer. Now, before I turned 7, he kept us in church religiously. And he even would sing for church. But I don't know that he ever really truly believed in God. But I will never ever forget that day in the hospital. It has stuck with me all my life, and I have thought about that. After that, I tried to talk to him about God, and he would never accept him. He would dismiss it. I did call the nurses in there to give him something to calm him down, because it was bad. But somebody on here needs to hear this, because I feel like he walked through hell. I think it is literally a place you go. He was a sinner. He was mean. And he had his loving ways too. I'm not totally dissing my dad, y'all. I loved my daddy. I stood by him. I cared for him too. But, some of his actions I totally disagreed with. And, but I do feel like he would want me to share his testimony. That he's not here. Because he's not here. But, he went into hospice, and the day before, or either the day of, my uncle and I were talking to him about God again. And I really talked hard to him about God. Dad, you are dying. I said, you understand that, right? And he said, yes. And he was with it, So he told me he wanted to accept Jesus into his heart. So my uncle was a preacher. We did the prayer with him. And when he accepted Christ, the whole room went totally quiet. Now, he has a lot of brothers and sisters, so there was a lot of people there. The whole room went totally quiet. There was a peace that came over that room. And for the first time, I truly, truly cried my hardest, because I knew he accepted Jesus, because I could feel it. I could feel the peace in the room. And not long after that, he fell asleep, and then he'd wake up, and the last time that he was awake, fully awake, he was looking at the end of his bed, and he said, now this was nighttime, and it was dark in there. The only thing on was the TV, because we tried to make it so comfortable for him. He looked at the end of the bed, and he looked at me, and he said, "Do you not see that bright light?" And I looked at him, and I said, "A bright light?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "And there's my mama. My mom's at the foot of the bed." And that just totally confirmed, because my grandma was a very godly woman. I didn't know her, but my mom told me all about her. And she was a very, very godly woman. And he said he seen his mom and a bright, bright, beautiful light. Well, he shut his eyes, and I got up and went over and sat at the table to do some stuff. And like 5 minutes later, my cousin walked over to me, and she said he just took his last breath. And I honestly, with the suffering he was going through, I cried tears of sadness and happiness, if that makes sense, because I knew then that he had been set free of his demons, along with he had truly accepted Christ that time. But people, I'm telling you, don't wait until you are on your deathbed. My dad could have been so much. He used to be a model, and he ruined his life with alcohol. Y'all, get your hearts right. Quit the addictions. The best way you know how, get help. It's not worth it. Your life is precious, and there's so much to enjoy out here. And I know it's hard, but you can do it. Believe me, I know that you can do it. You can beat those addictions. And don't wait until you're on your deathbed to accept Christ, because living for Christ every day, my God is so good. He is so good. And I wake up every day with thanks and gratitude for my God, because he has done miraculous things in my life. I have testimonies as well about my life and my past and my situations, but I wanted to share that. I'm running out of time, and I hope that truly spoke to someone's heart.